Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Everton versus Manchester United preview and more breaking news around Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Sky Sports saying that Manchester United retain support for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and see him as their long-term manager. What is the truth? It's bonfire night. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. Pochettino's for hire. Even if he's just dancing in the dark. Well, we're going to find out the truth, aren't we? I mean, one story is that we spoke to Pochettino. One story is that we're back in Ole. The big story is that we're playing Everton on Saturday. And I think if he loses on Saturday, his position almost becomes somewhat untenable. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the difficulties that Everton will present us. What my prediction is. It's not a very good one. And where we're going to end up. But first of all, we are sponsored by the Flick app today. Remember, you can download it. Link is in the video description. It's free. If you don't know what it is, we're giving away a shirt free tomorrow. You've got to be on the app to get it. You can get it on Android and on Android and Apple. Things that are on there at the moment is it's basically like lots of different WhatsApp chat groups for Manchester United fans. So we've got general Manchester United chat at the moment where John Abraham says Martial was the most expensive teenager, and an argument about Ole going on between him and Ryan Davies, which is great. We've also got transfer chat, Champions League chat. We've got polls, we've got quizzes. 2 polls going at the moment. Where does the blame for United's poor season sit? Board, Ole, players, or all three? You can vote on that one. And one that you might find quite interesting. Should Ole be sacked if we lose to Everton? Yes, 60%, but no, 40% if he doesn't get sacked. If he loses against Everton, they'd still keep him in a job. You can vote on that. It's all free. Get involved. You'll really enjoy it. Links in the video description. But it's amazing, isn't it, that 40% of United fans would stick with Ole if we lose to Everton, despite it being such a horrific start to the season. Well, can it get worse? Will we lose to Everton? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what Sky Sports are saying as well. In relation to Sky Sports, Manchester Evening News this morning saying that United have been talking to Pochettino. You can't deny that's a credible outlet because they do have sources. And then James Cooper from Sky Sports, who also has sources as well at United, saying that Manchester United are backing Ole and see him as the long-term manager. It's no surprise it's such a frustrating thing being a United fan, is it? Because if you this morning you probably thought Ole was going, now you probably think he's staying. This morning you were probably scared he was going, now you're happy he's staying. It's just all over the place. And this is what I mean about the board. Forget Ole out or Poch in for a minute. Look at those 2 stories from United sources. One way, one the other. They don't really care about what you think. It's all about public opinion. It's all about clicks. It's all about making money. And nobody comes out the winner of that today because Ole inners are now thinking he's definitely staying and Ole outers aren't. But this morning, lunchtime, he thought it was the other way around. The reality is, Manchester United had to come out and say something publicly. It doesn't mean anything to me what James Cooper from Sky Sports is saying. I said it this lunchtime. It's unprecedented that a source is telling the press that United are talking to Pochettino. We've got a big game on Saturday. The club had to come out and back the manager because tomorrow morning's press conference is going to be really, really tasty. Make sure you watch the reaction to that in the morning. But the club had to come out and publicly back him. Whether they're going to sack him or not on Saturday night, they had to back him. I'm not even surprised. They had to. Remember, Manchester United Football Club's media department is probably one of the most expensive and well-organised. It's one of the biggest areas in sports. Manchester United PR. They would have seen what was happening this afternoon. They've got to come out and say something to back their manager while he is the manager. So I wouldn't read too much into it. What the truth is, let's all see. Because if we beat Everton on Saturday, I have heard some people say if we beat Everton, he'll still get the sack. Nonsense. He won't. He's still got an opportunity to keep his job. And we're just going to have to see what happens with that. But Everton's going to be a very, very difficult game. Let's just talk about Everton for a moment. They are 4th in the league. They have lost their last 2 games, but they've got 13 points and they're 6 points ahead of us. Richarlison will not be back, he's still suspended, but Rodriguez is back and Digne is back. Neither of those 3 players played in the last game that they lost to Newcastle. They obviously lost to Southampton the week before where Rodriguez did play and Digne got sent off. There's a bit of good news. Pickford's going to be in goal, even though he got dropped last week. Ancelotti has said he will play, but Ancelotti has also said that it's going to be, he expects his side to be far more energetic than United because they've had a week off and United haven't. I mean, this game is a nightmare. I looked at this game at the last international break and I thought, Newcastle is the easiest game in the league. Chelsea at home, probably the second hardest. And then out of Arsenal and Everton, I thought Everton was the harder game because Everton is the away game. And Arsenal, I don't really rate Arsenal that much. But, now we're trying to say, well, we've got to beat Everton. I still think it's a very, very difficult game. Ollie's not won at Goodison Park. We've never played well at Goodison Park under Ollie. I don't think we played particularly well there under Mourinho. So we don't have a great record at Everton. And people will say, well, there's no fans there. That's our excuse. We're the only team that really performs crap at Old Trafford without fans. Everyone else seems to be doing okay. They'll be high energy. They'll use their flanks. Calvert-Lewin could cause Lindelof and Maguire a bloody nightmare. How do I think Everton will line up? They were playing with one up front last week because they didn't have Richarlison and they didn't have Rodriguez. They've got Rodriguez back, so I think they'll go to a 4-3-3. Digne will come back at left back. Midfield of Alan, Decore and probably Andre Gomez. And then I think they'll play Calvert-Lewin, Rodriguez and maybe Iwobi. I mean, they're struggling without Richarlison. They haven't got the depth, Everton, if they lose one or two of their good players, which is what's happened in the last two games. But I don't see Everton losing 3 in a row. Ancelotti's a very good coach and they will be up for it. We're not a team that is physically up for it. That's the thing. It's going to be a battle, and I don't think we will be able to give them the battle that they'll give us. I think it's going to be very, very difficult. Now that's the team I've gone with. Look, De Gea in goal, definitely. Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw fullbacks, definitely. Tellez won't be back. And he's going to play Maguire and Lindelof. Whether we agree with that or not, he's going to play them. It's what he does ahead of that. Because Maguire and Lindelof are weak. And Calvert-Lewin can hurt them. He might go and play Fred and McTominay as two midfielders in front. And then play a 4-2-3-1. And play Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial. He might go and do that. Which means he benches Pogba, Van der Beek and Matic. To me, that's stupid. And if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to stay in a job, I don't want him to stay in a job gripping on by his fingernails. I want him to get up and start fighting. And I think if you're going to get up and fight and you're going to start getting the fans back on your side, because he's losing the fans. You may be sat there watching this saying, he's not losing me, Mark, I'm Ollie in. But there'll be a few of you going, he's lost me, Mark, I'm Ollie out. And he is losing the fans. It's a fact. It is a fact. How's he going to win the fans back? He's losing the club. If the club are talking to Pochettino, he's losing the club. When I think about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United manager, I think that if I was him, if he got sacked on Sunday, if I was Ole, I'd sit there thinking, what if? I think the enduring thing for me with Solskjaer is there's been I think we've played some of the best football we've played since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, but it's been few and far between. But it shows that he can play that way. But the enduring thing for me about Ole, and I'd ask you in the comments to get in and tell me what your opinion of Ole's tenure as a Man United manager is. Too many times we've gone defensive to try and nick a game in a tougher game. And you look at Arsenal last week and Chelsea the week before. We're the home team. We need to win. And basically we set up defensively trying to nick a goal. And we didn't play well in either of those games. So if he does that against Everton, it's more of the same. That's not going to keep you in a job. It's going to gradually lose you more and more fans. And eventually you'll lose your job. If Solskjaer wants to keep his job at Manchester United, he's got to come out kicking and screaming. And he's got to come out playing like Leipzig. That sort of performance where you play on the front foot, you play with a risk, but you also, Fred was superb in that game. You can still be defensively good, but get hold of the ball. And I think the diamond is the way to go because he hasn't got wingers to do it. And look, he'll probably play Matic. He'll probably play McTominay. I'd play Matic. Bruno's got to play at the head of the diamond. It's the two box-to-box players. Fred, as we know, probably needed a rest against Istanbul and was played out of position against Arsenal and played badly. But Fred has been playing fantastically well in that right side box-to-box position. Van der Beek should play on the left-hand side. I think that I can't understand why he's not been using Van der Beek. And the one thing that I have said, and I'm not going to repeat, is that justification that he's not a number 10, he's a box-to-box player. Some of the tackles he made against Istanbul were Fred-esque. He was literally putting his foot in and winning the ball back. And then he's making a pass. To me, Donny is the best box-to-box midfielder we've got. Because he's creative, but he's also tenacious and quick. And this is what you're going to get from somebody who's a product of the Ajax system. He's got to play in that midfield. Donny van der Beek has got to start in that team. Because he will give us energy and he will give us drive. And so will Fred. And if Ollie's looking to keep his job, he needs people who not only are going to be tenacious and win the ball back, but also use the ball. And I think in Donny van der Beek, you will get that. Rashford and Martial up front and Bruno in behind them. But so much depends on this game, on the players' attitude. Because I can say that's going to be the team. But if those players think that winning will keep Ollie in a job and they don't want him to be, it's a moral dilemma for those players. And you say, well, no, they've got to play. Well, they don't always play for the shirt. So they're more than happy to not put their effort in. And you think about it like this. Footballers are simple creatures in many ways because they get paid a lot of money for a short period of time. They're footballers. And a lot of these players at Manchester United have got to play for Manchester United for the next 2 or 3 years. They're not all like Paul Pogba who can force a move next summer. They're here for 2 or 3 years. Now, 2 or 3 years is it's a big percentage of your potential football career. And in your football career, you want to win things. And at Manchester United, you should be winning things. So if you are one of those players who look at, they know more than us what's going on the training pitch and how they're being managed. If they don't think that this coaching setup is the right coaching setup, and they know that that coaching setup could change in a week with a new, better coaching setup, then as a footballer, what are you going to do? Are you going to prioritise putting everything into an Everton result? Or are you going to prioritise maybe not putting as much in because you know a change is better for your career? And look, that sounds very mercenary, but footballers and mercenary go together. Not all of them. A lot of them aren't like that, but a lot of them are. And what I'm saying is, it might be in the interest of some of these United players' careers to move Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of the team and Pochettino in it. And we'll find out on Saturday. I hope that's not going to be the case. I hope they're all going to turn up and play for the shirts, because I'm never one of these people. I'm never one of these people who wants United to lose so that we can get a new manager in. But there will be a lot of you that are. And I get it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. If I had the power to say, if we lose to Everton, Ollie's gone and Pochettino's in definitely, I think a large proportion of you would do that. But not for me. I still think that, look, we've got a game in hand on Everton. That closes the gap to 3 points. If we beat them, we're level with them and they're in 4th place. So the season's not definitely over for us. We've got to start winning. And the one result where I will be controversial is, I think we're going to lose 2-1. That's my score prediction, by the way. I think we're going to lose 2-1. I think we're going to lose 2-1 because Everton's energy levels will be better than ours. They will be very up for it. Ancelotti is a better coach than Ollie. That's not being dismissive. Ancelotti is a better coach than most managers in the Premier League. And I think that we'll get tactically outdone on Saturday. And I think they'll have the energy to really smother us. And I think when United's players' heads drop, they tend to stay down for a while. So I think we are going to lose. And I never predict we're going to lose. I always predict we're going to win. But I think we're going to lose. So hopefully we will win. But the one result I don't want, and I wouldn't normally say this, I don't want a draw. A draw helps nobody. A draw, what I would say is he could still get sacked by the draw. He could still get sacked by a draw, because that would be 8 points from 21. That's crap. That is absolutely crap. So it's still sackable for him if he draws, but he won't get sacked if he gets a draw. I'm not convinced he'll get sacked if he loses, by the way. I still don't think losing to Everton means he'll get sacked, but we can't afford another draw. We can't come out of Newcastle, Chelsea, Arsenal and Everton with 5 points from 12. That's abysmal, especially when we only took 3 from 9 at the start of the season. So we've got to win this game, and we've got to go and try and win this game. I just hope, what I fear is Solskjaer will be sat there going, I can't afford to lose this game. I can't afford to lose this game. Scotty and Fred sit in front of the back 4. We play deep and we hit them on the break. And that, to me, will be the most disappointing thing of all. To see Van der Beek on the bench and us to play defensive football, to me, that isn't the right attitude for Manchester United. And it will only feed into the fire that's burning that Ollie needs to go. He's got to go and try and win that game. We've got nobody injured. No creative player is injured. If you can't construct a team that needs to win to beat Everton, then with the players that we've got, then there's big problems, isn't there? But I think there will be big problems. And I think that this international break, that I've heard people say, I actually can't wait for the international break. I know it's lockdown. I'm going to do some online Christmas shopping, watch the Harry Potter box set and chill out. Maybe that's just me. But it might not be a chilled out international break for Manchester United fans. It could be hectic. It could be a new manager. It probably won't be, but if we lose, it will just be 2 weeks of toxicity and anger and frustration. And we don't want that. I mean, look, I don't think a win necessarily answers a lot of questions, but it puts us in a better situation. And with West Brom to come straight after, we could potentially get 6 points from the next 2 games. And look, hopefully start building something. But I'll be honest with you here. I don't know what I want. I don't know. All I want is Manchester United to win games, but I don't know what's best for United. I don't know whether Solskjaer is best for United anymore. As much as I'm not Ollie out, and I want it to work, I think I'm living on a prayer. I'm John Bon Jovi. I'm living on a prayer at the moment because I don't, for the first time in a long time, I can't predict what's going to happen. I think we can always predict what's going to happen. Well, we can all predict what's going to happen. And I think at the start of the season, I was like, we won't win the league. We might get to the knockout stage. We might get to like the quarterfinals of the Champions League and top 4, and that would be achievable. Now that looks very, very unlikely. And now we're being offered up another manager. So I don't know. I don't know what I want. All I can do is resort to normal, the routine of wanting Manchester United to win and wanting these players to deliver and wanting this coach to deliver. But I also know the naivety of that statement. These players have had more than enough chance to deliver. And they might beat, we could beat Everton 4-0 on Saturday. I still wouldn't be like, we're back, because we've had that. We literally beat Leipzig 4-0 a few days ago and just over a week ago. And here we are over a week later, with the manager looking like he's going to get the sack. So I don't trust this team. That's the thing. I don't trust this squad of players. And I don't think I'm ever going to trust this squad of players, to be honest with you. I think certain players need to go and new players need to come in. And some of those players are new signings. So it's not a great situation to be in. But look, this is our club. This is Manchester United. We're not going to not support the club in relation to the badge. But where we are as a football club is a mess again. And I think it's going to get messier over the next 24 to 48 hours. As I said, the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer press conference tomorrow is going to be very, very interesting, especially with the club now coming out backing him, but then stories that they're talking to Pochettino. The pressure on this game is huge. And the funny thing is, I think the people with the power are the players. It's player power again. Players got rid of Mourinho. A lot of people agreed with that. Some people would be saying to those players now, get rid of Ole. It's the best thing for the club. Some people would be saying, go out there and deliver for Ole. I hope they can deliver. I hope they can get us 3 points, because it would be a very good 3 points against Everton. I just think even if United were playing well, this would be a very hard game, and we're not. And the last team you want, when you think about United teams of the last 30 years, the last United team you want to be going to Everton for a fight to win a must-win game is this set of players, because they've proven time and time again that they can't do that. But that team could. Let's see. I guarantee you won't pick that team, but that team could. I think Fred and Van der Beek are very important, and you've got to keep Bruno and Marcus and Anthony as the attackers. But I think Fred and Donny are hugely important. But he probably won't pick them both, and that's the sad thing. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video, and of course get onto the Flick app. I've dropped the link in the video description for you. The chat goes on there. You can get involved in the polls. General MUFC chat. John Abraham says, Poch coming, at least we have a style of play, new coaching setup, and he's bringing his sporting directors of football. We need to make our own superstars. And other people are saying you can't keep changing the manager. It won't make any difference. Get involved in the chat on the Flick United Stand app. You can do the polls on there as well. It's free. You'll love it. Links in the video description. And we'll see you on the 8 o'clock show. Thanks for watching.